Greetings, gentlemen. So it's the deep hours, and we're going to talk about parking situations. I had a little story happen tonight. So, yeah. What made parking so fucking bad? A lot of it has to do with there was just never enough parking. That's kind of a half-truth. I'd argue what made the parking really bad was the hours of service. Now with the e-logs, it does make it a lot worse. Back in the day, we could just ghost a lot easier. Even with the e-logs where you could go maybe 3 miles, we could ghost to some degree then. But these days, if you go over, say, 5 miles an hour, it logs you on. So some people say use personal conveyance, and if you have to. You're not supposed to if it's loaded, but fuck do you want people to do is my question. Because after midnight, you're not finding a spot at the, actually after 10 o'clock, you're not finding a spot at a truck stop. Maybe even 6 o'clock, depending on where you are in the country. So that leads to, I guess you got to park on an overpass. A lot of overpasses tell you can't park here too, and there's reasons for this. There's legitimate reasons. Remember back when overpasses, on-ramps were covered in fucking piss bottles and bags of shit? You guys remember that? You remember that halcyon day of your childhood? Well, a lot of the country remembers how it used to be, and they want it back. So they're fucking pissed, and they're putting up signs saying you can't park here. A lot of people don't want to be woken up by a loud reefer unit, which you might be hearing in the background right now. You know, I don't know how to break this to people, but there's a lot of people cause problems on both sides. Some of these places that should have parking, they build the streets just so you cannot park a truck on either side. And they do that stupid artistic crap where they make it to where there's a middle lane thing there, or trees in the middle. It's like, dude, that's why? You're not even applicable. This is what pisses me off about that shit. You are literally putting trees in there because it looks good. I don't know, maybe you got a tax break on this crap, but it makes it to where this area is not parkable. And we're just trying to bring your crap to your fucking warehouse. It's not like we got up today saying, I mean, look, I like driving truck, but there are times I look at this industry, and a part of the inspiration to become an owner-operator, or just, you know, even get my own authority, it's just that I like doing this, but there are times I'm just like, you do this constantly, and you just start losing your goddamn sanity. And then you have these stupid rules constantly around you, and all these people, like, now you can't do this, now you can't do that. It's like, why? Why should I give a shit? That's really, and you know, I gotta be real about this. Between the COVID shit and all the piss ants of this world trying to nibble at me in one form or another, I'm getting irritated with a lot of people in life, and yeah, I get a little snappy sometimes. That's where we get to Captain Cocksucker at the fucking warehouse. Yeah. I partially blame myself. I kind of knew this place had a reputation for this, but here's the thing. You know when you go to a place and you have a little trouble one time and you think, and that was a long time ago, and you barely fucking remember, and then you go to it another time, and 2, 3, 4 times I've been there. And I don't go to this place very often, but I do it like maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times or 4 times a year. I used to do it more. I don't do it very often anymore. And it's one of those gigs where I came there like multiple times, and there were people parked there, and I said, I thought you weren't allowed to park. And they're like, oh no, we've been here all night. Okay. That's weird. I was under the impression that we weren't supposed to do that. That's why I always parked out on the street with the sliver of parking that's available there. I was like, okay, I guess this is the situation. And I get there and there's no sliver parking. I didn't want to park over here because this place has got a bar nearby and you get some punk kids around. And it's funny, I'm saying that. I'm getting to the age where I'm like looking around, I'm like, man, these fucking kids. You know what it is? I'm old enough to realize that yes, kids are annoying. I was part of that fucking problem back in the day. And yes, now that I'm old, I can recognize it is a fucking problem. So, it's one of those gigs where, I don't know how to put this, but I get to this place, and it's about 1 o'clock, 1:15 in the morning, and I don't have to be here till 6, but they open at 4 because I went up and checked out the receiver. Because hell, nothing would have made me happier than to them saying, well, go park in front of door, this or that. And then I would have been parked there, and they would have had their stuff there. And all they would have had to do is knock on the window and say, okay, open the doors, and here's how much the lumber fee is going to be. Like, fucking groovy. That would have been great. Nope, no, not the case. There was nobody there. So I just stay parked in the line with the dog. Go use the night water stuff, find some convenient shrubbery. You know, no dirty dark matter or anything like that. So, you know, I go back to try to go back to bed. You know, like, because I want to get like 2 hours of sleep. And lo and behold, right as I turn off my lights, not when I was moving around for the last half an hour, right when I turn off my fucking lights, Captain Cocksucker shows up. And you know that type of cop knock that people do, that really aggressive knock, like they really want to get your attention? He does that, and I'm like, okay, get up, put on the clothes. And I'm like, oh, let me put on my clothes, be there in a minute. And so I'm putting on my clothes, and then he's just fucking aggressively knocks again. I'm like, yeah, put on the clothes, dude. And then he starts doing it more and more, faster and faster. And by the way, this is an instigation technique that you see the cops and the fucking government do. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if this motherfucker was an ex-cop or an ex-military. Because, you know, I gotta tell you something. There's a lot of people that used to be something, and they fucked up, or they got kicked out of the military for something, like maybe they were too fucking fat or some shit. And next thing, now they're a security guard, and they hate it, and they hate dealing with the fucking people they deal with, because, you know, it's like literally, fucking, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, for them, it's demeaning, and it's like, well, that's not everybody's problem, is how they feel about it. Fuck it. I mean, it's just a job. You just do your job. But more aggressive knocking, and I lean out the fucking curtain and say, hey, man, I'll be there in a fucking minute. Because it's like, at this point, you're not, okay, you know I'm awake. You already saw my fucking big Jabba the Hutt fucking albino ogre white belly there. You know, there's none of this crap like you don't know what's going on. You're just being a dick at this point. And I'm like, okay, calm down. You know this guy's a cocksucker. Because he's clearly demonstrated that reality for you. Be cool when you fucking roll down the window. I roll down the window. I'm like, okay, sir, how can I help you? And he immediately, like, you're not supposed to park here. This isn't a truck stop. Blah, 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 blah. I've told your people from your company. Blah, 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 blah. You already know this. Blah, blah, blah. No, actually, I don't. I told him, like, no, not really. I don't know this. Because, you know, I come here like once or twice a year, and usually I park out on the street. And I'm like, so, you know, how about, you know, calm down a little, and, you know, that'll piss off anybody. Like, you're not supposed to tell the authority figure to calm down. But, yeah. And he's just starting, he's like, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm going to call your company, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay. And at this point, you know, there's that part of your internet. Let me explain. This guy's like a redheaded, fat guy. Looks about 6 foot, 45. Got the mustache, the Chester molester mustache. 45 to 50. Like I said, ex-cop, ex-fucking military or some shit. Or just a dick, you know. I can tell this guy is used to, like, well, he says he used the scare tactics. I'm going to call your company. Okay, I got to explain something to people. I'm really good at saving money. I could literally pay cash for a brand new truck and it wouldn't mean shit to me. It'd just be something I did. And I could buy a new trailer if I wanted to. I'm really good at saving money. People say, why haven't you done it? I said, I need to learn more. I want to be educated enough to know what the fuck I'm doing before I make a business investment like that. Plus, this whole COVID shit, these trucking rates, until they get this shit passed, and I fully believe the Democrats are going to drag this right through the election. All the way through until whoever gets elected or whatnot. Oh, we're in December and COVID just magically disappeared. No, or they'll try to keep it going through next spring if Trump gets reelected. Either way, they are more than happy to destroy our economy to make this going. So the idea of buying a truck right now, you know, even if I pay cash, still, do I want to buy it and then just have it sit there? No, not really. I mean, there's going to be a lot of trucks, even good used trucks. You know, I've thought about doing a rebuild where you buy an older truck and you do a rebuild on it, like something from the late 90s, early 2000s, something to maybe avoid dealing with paper logs, but then you got to question the fuel mileage. And then there's also the situation of, you know, if you're going to buy something like that, why not wait until the auctions are just plumb full of people that are losing trucks? And you can get a good truck for half the fucking price. You know, you'd be amazed at the deals you can get if you are willing to, you know, get the money. And that's part of my thought process, man. Do that before I go and do it. I'm still debating if I even want to, because I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. But, so, Captain Cocksucker, back to that part, is basically having his tangent and shit. And I'm like, huh. Well, he keeps on barking at me, and I'm like, dude, I don't care if you get me fired. I'm going to level with you. I have enough money to, you know, literally this. I have this much. I'm not, this doesn't mean anything to me. I said, you go ahead and get me fired, dude. I don't care. And he's like, oh, well, fucking must be great, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it is. It really is great, dude. It's great knowing that I don't have to work unless I want to. Like, this is a choice. And I could tell at that point he was really fucking pissed. He's barking at me, and I'm like, I just get the camera. And I'm like, I just want to have a picture of you. And I'm thinking to myself, somewhere in this, like, this guy, like, it's like the Timberwolf yappy dog. This guy literally is a fucking chihuahua. And he's a big chihuahua, by the way, but he's still a chihuahua barking at a Timberwolf. And he has an attitude with the truckers, and I was like, this is the type of crap you deal with. Once in a blue moon. I'm being real. This does not happen every day. Don't let truckers fool you. Usually people are cool. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they hassle you. Like maybe twice a year I get hassled like this. But once you know where a place is good and not good, then you just have to adjust strategy a bit. I'm just like, as I'm leaving, I'm like taking my sweet time. Well, I want to see these other guys leave first. And why you got to see them? I'm like, because I want to and I can. You know, and it's like, and he also said the line, well, when you try to check in later, you're going to have one hell of a time. I'm like, whatever, dude. And the best part is that I'm going to record it on my I'm going to show my e-log. And I might even bring the e-log in and be like, so here's my e-log. Here's my time. You know, like, I'm here on time. Do you want to check this in? And I will record him. And I don't know, maybe I'll have to figure out how the blurring out technology and be like, I'm here on time. I'm early. Actually, I was here earlier. But if he wants to be a dick later, assuming he's the guy checking us in. Because, like, look, if they want to take their ever-loving sweet time unloading, I don't give a fuck. And they'll probably even damage product. And that's the other thing. And that's a whole separate conversation about lumpers, too. Where it's like, oh, so you're literally extorting me because your companies are like, well, we need it stacked a certain way. Well, isn't that your fucking problem? Like, I shouldn't have to pay to move your shit because 20, 30, 40 years ago, this is the way shit was. Like, literally, this is a thing between you and the shipper, and you guys could literally set it up. You could put a pallet between the loads, and it'd be that much quicker. It would be like just this and that. And you know what? It would cause a lot of people to lose their jobs and lose employment, but that's literally kind of not my gig or theirs. Really, this is between you and them, and you're just trying to fuck us over on this. So, you know, it's this kind of like good old boy fucking redneck network of inbred shitfuck that happens to be working as a security guard that's hassling me, and the people that work in the loading the foot. It fucking drives me crazy. And I do love what I do to a degree. Okay, let me rephrase it. I love the driving part. I like driving. I like seeing new areas and all that shit. But as far as some of the shippers are good, solid-earth people, real people. But some of them are just so rancid and shitty. You know they're trying to fucking get you in trouble. And that's the thing. And he didn't like it when I took his photo. I'm not posting it because that's legality reasons. But I'm like, I just want to have a record of this creature that I'm dealing with. And it's just like, fuck. You know, but I don't know. Yeah. Fuck people that are having power trips. It's like, it's not worth it. Take it easy.